Hey, what's going on, BookMine users? Today, we're going to say, let's go and actually source some books on BookMine. So we were just over on my YouTube channel. We sourced, 6 or 7 books that I'm going to buy, at the end of the day if no one else buys them. And we've got Nathan in the house already pumped up, ready to go. And yeah, we're just going to keep going. We got Miss Lachey in the house. Everyone go give Miss Lachey a follow. She's got a YouTube channel, makes awesome content, a lot of eBay book selling. We got Matt in the house. What's going on, Matt? So we got some BookMine members here. They're ready to go. And let's go and share my screen and let's get this going. We're also, let me see. Okay, so we're going to pull this out. So again, I've got on my window, I've got a bunch of tabs. I'm going to go buy these books that from my own YouTube channel I just found. But we're going to start fresh here. And by the way, one thing that I did want to tell you before we start fresh is later today, actually in an hour, I'm coming out with a YouTube video where I interviewed Avery Romer and Reezy Resells at the Miami Sellers Conference. And there we said, hey, we should do a book selling conference. So if you guys are interested in a book selling conference, then make sure you fill this out. Only if you're interested, right? Obviously don't fill it out if you're not interested, but we're highly considering throwing, us 4 guys, so me, Avery, Steve, and Victor, throwing a 3-day conference in Las Vegas, September 13th, 14th, and 15th. And just having a long list of just really amazing people, like a huge, awesome speaker list, kind of just a networking event for us to hang out. So if you guys are interested in that, then definitely let us know down below. But again, I'll have a video coming out on my YouTube channel later today. You guys can check it out. But with that said, I'm going to pull this BookMine tab out. We're going to start a new tab. And also let's bring out StreamYard as well. And what we're going to do is just start in a new tab here. Let's do this. All right. And we're going to see how many books we can find. So let's go ahead and refresh this page. See what we got here. I got to log in real quick. Looks like I was logged out. And let's see how many books we can source here. BookMine app. All right, we're ready to go. Who else we got in the house? We got Adam Williams going, yo, what's up, Adam? Good to see you, man. And let me get this comment off the... So we got Adam here. What's going on? Book selling, Justice League. There we go. We got Denise in the house. Awesome, guys. All right, let's go back and take a look. So we just refreshed the page. So we just updated maybe about 35 minutes ago. So it's going to be probably around another 30 minutes or so for when we get another update. So we were, let's see, I think we got down to right around here. Yeah, so the K through 12 books, so the K through 5 books. So let's keep going. We got a positive coaching book. It looks like it has some sells in the 30s there. Definitely going a hard repricing war right now. Got to sell it at 50, but this is what I don't like about this book. It has sat really low in the past, right around $3 or $4, so I don't like that. And then also you can see it kind of bottoms out at that price often. So boom, hard no. Let's pass that book. Here's a book that might have some seasonality, The Shadows of the Tech Cookbook. Generally, it's very cheap as well, though, and today it's not as cheap as it was in the past, so I'm going to go and pass on that. We have a radiation therapy plan. It looks to be cheaper than the cells. Looks like cells in the 70s to 80s there. Price of 33, so we're looking at about half. Let's take a look. And let's get rid of some of these buy box prices real quick, and let's get rid of that new price that's kind of squishing the graph. Get rid of the buy box, and let's get used. Okay, so let's look at the used prices. So we're looking at right around 33. We've got a bunch of cells above that, right around 60. Then some cells right around 30, which is what you can buy for, and then also in the same in the beginning of the year. So here's a book that you have, kind of right around its lowest point. It's been lower in the past, and you'd ideally want to pick it up there. Let's see. Buy box holds pretty strong this year in the 60s, 70s. So here's a book that's close, but I would say I would probably pull the trigger on this book if the offer count was a lot lower. If it was like half of what it is, I'd buy it. But you're kind of buying this for kind of what it's worth. The good news about that, though, is that, again, I'd find it hard to lose money because you're buying it for what it's worth, and it is a book that holds value. So I'd say probably tracking this book. If this got down to $20 or less, I'd pick it up if it was 20 or less. So I'll track that. Let's keep moving. Here's a book that looks like it just came back in stock. Sell out very likely. And let's see what we got going on here. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay, yeah. So here's a book that I would definitely buy. The question is it still available? Because this has been sitting here for a while on BookMine. So the all-in price is 26.47 according to BookMine. Let's go to see all buying options. I'm hoping this is okay. Awesome. HPB Red is there, and then your online bookstore. So here's a good example of online bookstore. I don't have the best experience with them, so I'd buy just this copy here. But we're looking at 26. I think it was. Is that what it was? 26.47. Boom. Okay, so this looks like the first book that I'd be super interested in. And let's get rid of this new price there, 140. Okay, so here's a book that is basically always selling in the 40s, but also tons of sales in the 70s. And the buy box is almost always an 80 or above. This is a book that also is in very low supply right now, which is great. And you can see the most recent sales up in the 40. But again, thinking of this book as an asset, I mean, definitely over the last 3 or 4 years, there aren't too many opportunities to buy this book for what you could have bought it for today, and tons of sales above it. So this is a book that I would buy. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a high pricing here. This is probably what happened. Maybe there's a high pricing here, so it kicks some sellers off, and that's kind of why it's that price probably has to steadily climb again. But again, tons of sales around the 75, so I'd probably aim for 75 on a book like this. Looking at about 100% ROI if we sell it there. And again, usually the buy box prices are significantly higher than that. So let's see what we got. We got Michael in the house. What's going on, Michael? We got Matt in the house saying, good morning, rise and shine, BookMine. What's going on, everyone? All right. So what I'm going to do here is go to the data tab and go to offers. I'm going to look at prime offers, look at include historical offers. And by the way, guys, I'm going kind of fast here. You'd always go back after this video is posted, and you can rewatch it and make it go slower. So we're going to look at prime books, historical offers. We're going to look only at used offers. And we're going to look at this over the last 365 days. I want to get a good idea for what some of these prime offers have been going for. So you can see some of the most recent ones, a bunch of recent ones at 41.40, which is which is higher than what we could buy it for, which is great news. Now we need to sell for more than that to make a profit. So here's kind of where the prices are higher: 99, 73, 99, 99. You can see all these people going off the listing: 90, 88, 74, 89, 89, 89. So tons and tons of sales. 103, 76, a little bit lower, 50, 82. So tons of sales, even getting up to the 80s, and even getting up into the, I think there's one at 100, right? Yeah, 103. So I'm not saying that you should necessarily sell it for that much. What I'm pointing out is that there's precedent. A lot of books don't have precedent for selling at high prices, but when you have a book that has precedent, and a lot of precedent for selling at a higher price, especially when it's higher than your target price, that's amazing news, because you know your book has at least there's upward trajectory on the book. A lot of books kind of are bound, where it's like, okay, you might have a book that's never sold above 50 bucks ever. You know you're probably never going to sell it above 50. But if I'm coming here saying my target price is 75, which is already a really great price, and then I know, hey, there's possibility of this going even higher, that's just even better news. It's at a really low supply, and we know that at low offer counts, books tend to sell for much higher, which is great. This is good. So this is definitely a book I'd be picking up. And if no one else picks that up, which I bet someone has already picked it up, but if no one else does, I'll absolutely be buying that book. It's an incredible book. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Clive says on BookMine, it says, Clive says on BookMine, it says 78 BookMine, but I don't see 78 bucks. So I have to change some settings. So if you're on BookMine, probably what you want to do is you want to make sure that you click reset first. So Clive, go back and click reset or refresh the page. And then what you're going to have to do is input your parameters again, or input your filters, and then go from there. So try that out. Okay, so we have a book here that looks like it's at 20 bucks, and it looks like it has sales right around the 40s. So we got sales in the mid 40s, got sales up into the 50s. You can see a little bit of a dive in offer counts right around 15. So here's what I mean about a book that has a ceiling. When I say ceiling, just think about like a house. Like if a house has a ceiling, and let's say you could theoretically jump really high, like you wouldn't be able to jump higher than the ceiling, like your head would hit the ceiling, right? So think of as books having ceiling prices. Generally a ceiling price will be because of Amazon, and you can see that pretty well here, that first 6 months of the year the ceiling price was 70, 76, then it was 64, and currently the ceiling price is 62, meaning no logical human being is going to buy your used copy for more than $62, because they could just buy it brand new from Amazon. People trust Amazon more than they trust you, so that's the ceiling price. You're never going to be able to price it higher than that unless Amazon's price changes. Now the thing is, that selling price can come down. Like for example, you saw the ceiling price was 83 and then it dropped to 64. So you had a real period of time where the ceiling price dropped, and that could happen again. Like, you have no idea. Like Amazon could drop their price from 62 down to 45 tomorrow, and the ceiling drops. Or they could go out of stock and then the ceiling goes up, or they could increase their price like they did here. It was 64 and then they went back to 83, so they increased the ceiling price. But my point in saying this is understanding what your range is when you're going to sell a book is really important. Here's a book that absolutely is undervalued. I mean, it's sitting right around 20 bucks. It has the most recent historical sales in the 40s, and it's got plenty of sales rank drops right throughout the year. So let's go and take a look at this book. We're at 1936. Let's put that buy cost in. And we're thinking of this book selling. Now, I would personally probably want to sell this book. Like 55 is still probably a little bit too close to the Amazon price, although it could sell. I would say probably going around like 52, like $10 cheaper, I think is what I would aim for. So I'd probably go min price 48, max price 52, somewhere in there. I think there's enough of a savings where somebody would want to buy that, and we would be below historically what people are selling this for. So again, another book I'm going to buy if no one else buys that book. And let's go on to page number 2 here. All right, let's go to the top of the page. We got a repricing war here at 15. Looks like some sells in the low 20s, one recent sell in the 40s. So again, you'd want to look at this book. It looks like it is a textbook. And yeah, plenty of sales in the 40s. So a great book here as well. You can see great historical sales data on this book. Obviously, we can look to see if there's a newer edition or not. But we're looking at, a buy box already at 47. I mean, this book is kind of worth around 40 bucks at the lowest price normally. And it generally buy box is much higher than that. So again, here's a book that you'd be buying the cheapest ever. And it's probably undergoing a repricing war because there's probably a couple mega sellers here. Let's see what we got. So we've got, three big booksellers, 2 Goodwills, and Fat Pocket Bookstore. Let's see, I'd want to probably buy the like new copy, even though it's a little more expensive. So it'd be all in for this, $11.19 plus $3.99, $15, and the target price on this would be probably like 45 to 55. So 45, these are the $12 profit, $55, leaving us with a $20 profit. So again, here's a book that I would snag for sure. Definitely this copy, and not this one. This is actually 13 plus $10 shipping, so it's actually like 24. So you actually just have 2 people in reprice war. I'd buy that copy. Now, this Goodwill in particular has a lower feedback rating, so I wouldn't buy that acceptable copy. If they were 95% higher, I would. But another good book, I'll buy that one as well. All right, let's see what else we got. Ooh. Okay, I want to look at this high school book here in a second. It looks great. Can I look at some high school books? Yeah, let's do that, Clive. We'll actually look at one here in a second. We got Horse in Motion. Plenty of sales in the 50s. I, again, don't really like that it's been cheaper in the past. I always want to think that I've got a great deal, right? So you always want to think that I bought it at kind of its lowest price, which is not true. I could have bought it for cheaper there. With that said, what I like about this book is it's got a lot of history of ebbing and flowing. It's got a lot of history of getting low and then recovering and selling for a high price. So that's really good news. Probably at the 20s, it's too high for me. I'd want to pick it up during these times here when it's right around probably like 8 or 9 shipped. So I'm going to go and track this for $9 free shipping and set myself up for a future lead there. Now, we got a first high school book here. It's actually a teacher's edition. Teacher's edition books do so well for me. So make sure if you do buy teacher's edition books, you're buying them and you're selling them on the teacher edition listing. Like you can clearly see that this says teacher edition here. So that's good. Now, this book obviously is going to pop July, August, September. It's got plenty of sales in the 80s. Currently, it's at 62. The good news about this is that it, with the exception of last June, looks to be its cheapest ever. So I probably still would want to hang on to this because even though it's likely you can probably sell this for, 110 or 115, it's still a little bit high for me. But let's just look at the offers anyways to see what's going on. And then we'll also check eBay. So we got a couple copies at 62 and they're in acceptable condition. So I wouldn't want to buy those. But let's go over and click on the eBay function here. And it doesn't look like there's anything over on eBay either. So unfortunately, this is a book that you'd want to track. You can say I'm tracking for $30. I probably should be a little bit more aggressive on it. Let's go 45 include shipping costs. So I'll go a little bit more aggressive on it because I'm not sure if it's ever going to get that low. some other awesome, really cool books that I'm skipping on here just because we're gonna look at some high school books here in a sec. But wow, so I mean, a lot of really, really cool looking books. And the good thing about BookMine, guys, is it's really only like $4.33 per day if you use it. If you use it every day. And I would only honestly recommend you use BookMine, by the way, if you are using it every day, because there's a reason why we have this priced higher. It's because if it's priced higher, you guys see the value in it, right? Because it has tons and tons of value. I mean, you could easily make well over what you'd be paying for it. But then also at a higher price, it lets us bring in people who are really dedicated to this and lets us serve those customers better. So it's one, worth that, but two, it also lessens the number of people using it, which makes it more powerful. All I'm saying though is that if you're a serious bookseller, it really is a no-brainer for the amount of value you would find with it. Let's look at high school books. So I'm going to go ahead and first refresh. Let's see if we've had an update here or not. Okay, so we're going to get an update here pretty soon on the hour, so we'll take a look for that. But let's go to book type, and let's go and click on high school only, and let's go from there. So we already looked at this book, which had sort of a high school season, even though it's probably not a high school book. So looked at that one. We already looked at this one. We said that was a winner. We got, this is definitely a college book. So it's not possible for us to 100% code everything perfectly, but this is absolutely a high school book right here. So let's take a look at this one, see what we got. It's a chemistry book, and one thing that I really like about this book right off the bat is today's offer count is 31. Last year's offer count at the same time is 46. If you look at this offer count over time, it does look to be going down, which is good. Now the used prices got up into only the 17s or 18s, low 20s. The buy box is right around 25 to, or right around 29 to 30. So that's probably the target price. Now with that said, we are at a lower offer count now than we were in the past, and the used price is actually lower than it was in the past. So that's actually a good sign. I'd go over to eBay. Again, I guess you can click here on the eBay function button. So there's nothing under 580, which is kind of what we said would be the ideal price to buy this book at. But we can still sort by lowest first. Looks like we have some copies at 1180. So this one would be close. I'd say you probably want to get a little bit cheaper than that if you could, but probably selling this in the high 20s to low 30s would be the play. Let's see what else we got. Got ourselves, this is a college physics book, so let's pass on that one. This has some January season as well. January season. Okay, grade 7. So this isn't a high school book. It's actually a middle school book. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got sells at the lowest price in the 25s. It does get a little bit cheaper, down to about $5 though. So definitely some seasonality to this book. And like I said, it does buy box in the 30s. And the price does go up a little bit. So this is maybe something that doesn't have a super pronounced stereotypical mountain pattern, but there's still some possibility with this book. I would say right off the bat probably would pass on it, but if we did more research, we might decide to buy it. Let's see. Okay, so we got a book, Geography 5th grade complete set. So this is a book that is wildly undervalued. The question though is it says set, and so it needs to come with all the stuff. And so kind of the bummer is that probably unlikely that it's going to come with everything. Books in Universe, so it says access codes might not be included. Also, they're 92%, which is not the best. So I'd probably pass on it, but definitely an undervalued set. You're looking at 88 up to 100. So a great book that BookMine found, but I'd probably pass because it's a set, and that person doesn't have great feedback. Phonics. So here's Saxon. Saxon's actually a really good homeschool publisher. So what's good is we have this book in the beginning of the year being right around 32. It got actually really low in August, September, and then you can see it popped off during high school book season. And this would have been an amazing book to have bought here. I mean, you can see how well it performed. You're talking buying books for under $10, selling them for in the 40s. Some sells up into the 60s, and then recently in the mid 20s, and now it's kind of sitting right around $18.99. So something that I'd still want to pick up a little bit cheaper. But again, we found it because of the fact that there's been recent sales in the 60s. But this is something you'd want to track. So I'm going to track this for under $11 free shipping. Boom. We're gonna pick up that book. All right. We've got a Civil War book here. I think that's what it said actually. Maybe not. Yeah, Civil War book. So this got up into the 20s at the lowest use price. It's right around 6, which is good. You can see that the offer count today versus same day last year is not significantly higher. It's actually right around the same. And again, probably going to eBay for these books would be the better bet. And so nothing under our target buy price there, but we could also get rid of this and just kind of see what's there. You can sort by lowest first. 913. Often there's going to be deals like, so this one says buy 3 get 1 free. So sometimes they'll have it like on this $9 copy here. If they had a buy 3 get 1 free, then it probably would actually be worth it. If you're looking at $9, the goal here would be to sell it for. I mean, the buy box did get up into the 40s, and it does look like it did eventually sell. But again, the used price doesn't necessarily go up too high. So what I'd recommend on books like this is really, you're gonna have to probably do more research. You have to dive into the offers tab here and look at historical offers, look at your prime offers, at the used prices, and scroll back to when you see the stock quantity around like August, or right around like July, August go off. So you can see 31, we got ourselves 48. So it looks like someone did sell it at 48, 31, 31. So a bunch of sells at 31. So if you're buying it for 9, you're gonna want to probably sell for right around 31. So the question is there enough margin? I think there actually is going to be. You say that Nathan says there's someone with 88 copies, $6.14. Maybe we're looking at, oh, I see. So $10, 88 copies. Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely something that would probably give me a little bit of pause. With that said, they're not a prime offer, and there are also only 3 copies, and it goes up to kind of what the what the target price would be. So 913, you'd probably be looking to sell this for like 31. So, probably not much room. I'd still pass on it. But going back to that point, high school books like this, this wouldn't be an immediate turnoff to me due to the fact that it's a merchant fulfilled seller. Obviously, if it was a prime seller, absolutely. But the reason why I say that is just having gone through high school textbook season, I know a lot of the times that prime is favored. And if you have books that show really great seasonality, then those are books that I would still feel comfortable picking up. So in this case, I don't think there's enough margin because 31 is kind of what I'd want to sell it at, and the profit on it's like $4. So there isn't much of a cushion there. So I'd probably pass on it just for that reason alone. But I'm not seeing any sort of amazing high school textbooks yet. Fix-It grammar book. We got a teacher's edition book here, so let's take a look at this one. Again, I really love flipping teacher edition books. Okay, so here's one that I like. Again, you're gonna have to figure out if it's still going to be with the ROI. So $20 is the buy price, and you can see August, September, it does really well. The lowest use price is right around 35, so significantly above what you could buy it for today. Offer count today versus offer count same time last time is right around the same. And this gets up into the, it has got up into the 50s. And I bet you there's people who've sold it for more than that as well. So probably the target price on this would be like $50. Include historical offers, prime, used. Let's look. So we're looking at, let's go back to July. Okay. So we're looking here at the 50, 44, 43, 28, 39, 45, 50. So here's what I mean. Somebody sold at 85, another person 85, 49. So there's precedent up to 78 as well. So there's definitely precedent to sell this for more. And if you think about it, $20 is actually a really good buy price for this book. So it is from a prime seller, so you'd want to add it to cart to get $35 or more. But so you've got a couple of prime offers at 20, and what I'd recommend in this case is probably buying the prime offers to get those off the listing. So what I would do is buy these 2 copies here. So even though this person doesn't have the best feedback, it is in good condition. It's prime, so it'd be easy returns if you needed to. Same thing with here. If they're in good condition, I'd still buy them. 2046. For me, again, this gets up to 35 at the lowest price. I would be exploiting the prime bump a little bit here, but I'd probably try to go like 55 And I'd probably put that as my min. I'd probably put 70 as my max. So there's a book that I would buy. I'd buy both those copies. And again, one of the reasons is it's never really been cheaper than this, and it teacher editions are normally much more rare because think about it logically, like there's only one teacher edition for like 150 kids, so getting a teacher's edition copy is going to be there's going to be much fewer copies available than just normal student editions. But yeah, I'm going to buy that book. All right, let's see what else we got. 21. So here's another book that we might consider buying as well. So we've got $21. Yeah, so this got up last August up to $50. Did perform pretty well. It looks like it does well every year. Now a little bit of a rise in the offer count, so it'd give me a little bit of pause. It would have been best if we could have picked it up a little bit cheaper, although it still might be the same price depending on if this is free shipping or not. Yeah, it's probably the same price, $21.56. So let's open up this book. So this book has a little bit of an increase in offer count, but it's still performed really well, even getting up to a high offer count the year before. And you can already see the offer count already dipping a little bit. So this is a book that I would buy as well. We're looking at, I think it was 21. Yeah, 21.53. And I'd say the target selling price here would be right around 50 probably. That's probably 50 is probably right around what I try to get for a book like that. Let's see what the offers are available. Got a couple of so I'd probably buy this one, this acceptable copy. Gate City Books. I usually have pretty good luck with them, especially I have pretty high feedback there. So yeah, $21. We can always go over to eBay, see if we can find anything there as well. Doesn't look like there's anything lower. Now, generally with the high school books, you will be finding, probably 50%, more around like 50 to 75% ROI on a lot of the ones that are faster moving, which is still great. I mean, kind of some of the books that we were looking at earlier today are books that sell maybe a little bit less frequently, and so there's higher margin on them, but there's pros and cons of both. So here's a book that's right around 15. Offer count is 48. Last year's 42. So pretty much probably should expect something similar. And you can see this book for a long period of time was in the 40s. So this is a great high school book, or actually middle grades book. So I would recommend buying multiple copies of this. Let's see what we got. So 17, 14. So we're looking at an all-in buy price of $21.39. And we got a few copies here. Again, you have quality school textbooks with 32 in stock. Again, I wouldn't necessarily worry about that too much, especially due to the fact that often when high schools are buying these books, they'll buy a lot of copies. So you can already, like you can see in August here, there's an offer count drop of 44 to 33. It wasn't at a price that was profitable for a reseller, so that probably definitely was like an actual high school buying this book. But yeah, this book has performed very well since it's been out. Again, a little bit of a rising offer count over time, but this book is still going to be in circulation for a while, probably for at least another 5 years. And so plenty of sales rank drops. The target selling price on this would probably be in the upper 50s, like $49.99. So again, you're having a lower margin. So it's up to you if that's something that you'd want to do. But I mean, this is I mean, it's close to, I shouldn't say it's guaranteed money, but it's pretty close to, like, if you buy this here and you sell it during textbook season, like the chances of you losing money are very slim. So covered high school books there for a while. Another high school book that looks to be pretty good there. Let's look at the last page quickly. Got one at $10. Looks like this one might also do pretty well. Let's take a look. Right around, yeah, so here's a book that definitely does well August, September, and it's buy box price kind of right around the 30s, which is kind of where you'd want to be. So this one looks pretty solid as well. Yeah, I mean, if you look at this one over the last 2,900 days, it's performed very well. So let's take a look. So again, target selling price is probably going to be in the 30s. You can see it even started buy boxing at 32 well before the season. So I'd say 32 is kind of the goal here with this book. And we'll keep by it for right now. Looks like you could buy it for, it looks like there's only 2 copies here. So you'd probably buy this copy from Goodwill, $5.77 plus $3.99, $9.76, $5 profit. Good news about this book though is it does have the buy box getting higher than that. Like for a good part of the season, it's up in the 50s. So I mean, if you waited and sold it for the 50s, then you'd be wildly profitable. But I'd say still the target buy price is like right around 32 bucks. So that's a book I would also buy. Other than that, geometry book here. Let's look at this geometry book. We got ourselves, okay, so here's a book that was selling very well in the 70s. It's right now at 25. So I mean, yeah, buy this book for 28. When this season comes up, you'd be selling it for up 50 to 60 bucks. So this is kind of a newer high school book. And let's see what the, again, you're looking at lower margin, but again, you're looking at, again, I can't say guaranteed money, but you're looking at a very high likelihood of selling this book and making some pretty good money. So again, 98% right here from Goodwill. It's a acceptable condition copy. So again, I generally buy acceptable condition copies, especially from Goodwills if they have high feedback ratings. And I'd say the target selling price on this would be probably like 60. So if we look at 60, we're looking at a $12 profit. But again, there's precedent up to 70 as well. So 60 to 70, a great book there. So there's another book that I'd buy as well. I'll put that there. So that's good. All right, so I think we did a pretty good job of high school books. Let's see. Let's actually just refresh the page because I bet you there's new stuff on BookMine now. Yeah, okay, so we just had an update just recently, which is great. So we got a fresh supply of inventory to look at. Here's a book that looks undervalued. So definitely looks undervalued. It's some sort of book with a horse. We've got plenty of sales in the 40s or 50s. It just dropped down to 26, so it's going to be a little bit undervalued. I mean, the reality is, like, if you just blind bought like this whole first page, the chances of you performing poorly are very low. Like even if you just blind bought them all, which is kind of crazy if I'm being honest. But I wouldn't recommend you do that. I'd still recommend that you that you do your keeper research. All right, 750 on this book here, Weapons of Mass Destruction. This says a school teacher's journey to the dark world of compulsory schooling. Okay, so we got plenty of sales at the 25 mark, buy boxing regularly at the 30s. So again, holds great value, 15. I mean, holds a great base value, right? So here's a book that, you know, I don't see how you lose money on this at all. Like you might not make a ton of profit, but you have to also understand that, like you have to understand risk in terms of like when you buy a product, what's the likelihood or what's the risk that you lose money on it? And you might have books that might have a lower ROI, but if they have very low risk in terms of losing money, you should positively weight that in your decision to buy it, because essentially you're almost guaranteeing yourself that you're not going to lose this capital. You might just make a little bit. So we're looking at 1147. And again, this regularly buy boxes right around 30. So that'd probably be $29.99 would be like the target selling price, which again doesn't look amazing, but there's also precedent of it being higher than that. And you know, you could set your max price for 35, at which case it does become much better. And again, this is a book that over a long period of time has held some great value. So I wouldn't be worried about buying that book. It's just going to be lower margin, but I would say 29 to 35 is what I'd go on that book. Let's see what else. Okay, we had some awesome books up here as well. This looks like it's just like a novel, some sort. 42, some sells here probably at 40, 42. Looks like a sell at 80, sell at 40, some sells in the 20s. And then generally wasn't worth very much. So probably just a low offer count, which is why this was selling well. I wouldn't pick it up due to the fact that it, again, doesn't really hold a base value. So I'd pass on that one. It looks good from the Keepa graph, but that's why you got to look further back into time. Let's just look at this horse book anyways. So plenty of sales above 45. Right now it's at 26. So obviously it's undervalued. Again, the question is there enough room, a margin for you? So it probably would make like $7 profit on that book if you were to buy it. So probably most people would pass on it. It's not enough margin. Although again, it is a book you would want to see. Definitely undervalued. Here's a book undergoing repricing work, Principles of Casino Marketing. So it looks like we had to sell at 70, probably a new condition there. Some sales at 44, some sales in the 30s, and now it's undergoing a repricing war. So here's what I mean. This is a longer tail book that I would definitely consider buying. Came out in 2008. Very unlikely there's a new edition. I don't even think it says edition on it. Yeah, there's no. So this is probably the only copy of this book that's ever come out. Right now, the buy box price is 73. Target price on this would probably be like 45 to 55 though. So we're looking at price of 1688. And my goal to be sell is probably like 49.99. So personally, this is a book I would buy because it's got a great history long term of doing well. There have been times where it's been, significantly cheaper, but it did recover from there, and it has historical precedent for selling at $100. So I weight that positively in my eyes. Now, currently there is a new seller on the listing for 58, and there is a prime seller at 89 as well. I think that's actually Amazon. Yeah, Amazon came back on the listing. And it actually is something to say for when Amazon comes back on the listing. If Amazon comes back on the listing, it means that there's probably a pretty good shot that they think, hey, this is a book that still has life in it. So I would also positively weight that as well. But yeah, this is a book that has sold up to 75. So probably what I do is put my min price at 49.99, and just for right now, because there's a new price at 58, I put 58 as my max price. Now, how many copies of this are available? I'd probably just buy. So this College Book Strike with 4. I'd buy this one copy, and then what I would do is track it. You can see how this is undergoing a pretty aggressive repricing war. So it's possible that this book could get even cheaper. So I'd buy that one copy, and I'd probably track this for like $12 free shipping. So if it ever gets there, I'd probably just buy out the other 4 copies if it gets there. So that'd be my plan of attack with that book. So I'm going to go ahead and save that one as well. And I'm going to buy that if no one else buys that. Okay, let's look at this Reformation study book. Looks like sell at 165. Looks like a couple sells here at 30, and then someone came on the listing at 30. Now we're gonna have to look at past historical data. Generally, looks like this is selling in the 50s. It has some precedent of selling higher than that, but this isn't enough precedent for me to want to buy it, so I'm gonna pass. Dr. Susan Love's Breast book. We got ourselves another study Bible. So we look like we have pretty consistent sales in the 60s, and today's price is 33. So definitely a good price, about half of what it normally is. So plenty of $60 sales precedent up to 80. Has been kind of in this $30 range before in the past. But again, look at this book having a high floor price, right? It's pretty much always 40, 50, 60 bucks, somewhere in there. So the odds of you losing money on this book are very low due to the fact that you're buying it at a price that's low, but it also holds like a safety net price pretty well. So again, here's a book that not tons of margin on, but again, you have to factor in that fact that the chances of you losing money on a book like this are pretty low. So I would say target selling price for me is 65 on a book like this. So I'd probably go min price 65, max price probably 69.99, honestly. And again, this is something that once you get enough capital, this is a book you'd buy, right? You're still making $10 to $15 profit. It's still a book that's wildly undervalued relative to its most recent sales. So good book there. We have, I love these sort of books that just come back in stock, like they're out of stock, just came back in stock here at, looks like 20. Plenty of sales in the 50s. This is probably gone already, but this is a no-brainer buy right here. Okay, so it's not. You guys are sleeping over on BookMine. Come on, guys. We got to be buying. This is an amazing book. Offer count of basically 1. Someone just came on listing right now, $15.99. And the most recent sales are in the 60s, actually. 58, 60, 51. So we're looking at, and this is also from half-price books, and it's in very good condition. So I really like half-price books, and very good condition books is going to be great. So plus $3.99, boom, 23. I would say conservatively, you're selling this at $59.99. Conservatively, it's at a really low supply though, so I would look back to see if there's historical precedent for more than that. Like for example, $100 sale right there. There's no way that you lose on this book. I mean, look at this. This was Amazon's in stock for 45, selling all the time, and this book frequently goes in and out of stock. So I'd probably put the min price at $59.99. I'd probably honestly put the max price like $89.99. This book's got a lot of demand, and it's possible for it to go that high. You can even see someone came in stock in new condition for a few days and they went out of stock. So there was no sales rank drop. Pro tip, just because the sales rank doesn't drop doesn't mean the book isn't selling. Likely that book did sell. It just didn't register a sales rank drop. So this is a money book. So if you haven't bought that book yet, there's no even point for me putting this over here because someone's going to buy it because it's such an amazing deal. But I would say conservatively $59.99. You just paid for 4 days of BookMine. And all you had to do is just search for about, a few minutes. So I could go on and on. I do have to probably end out the stream here, but I mean, there's just tons of amazing. I mean, I'm passing really good books here. So, for those of you who are not BookMine members, you might think that the price is expensive, and it is, especially in the beginning. But if you are going to utilize BookMine and especially do it every day, it literally is like a no-brainer. There's like an absolute no question in terms of value. So, just incredible books after incredible book. So, I would say easily we probably sourced at least in the last hour, at least a few $100s of potential profit. And yeah, awesome stuff. All right, Denise says, thank you, Joji. Gold mine here with BookMine. Absolutely. By the way, I got the BookMine merch on. And again, if you guys are wanting to go to this 3-day event for book reselling, for book resellers, me, Victor will be there, Steve Reiki, and Avi Romer, then make sure you check out our conference link. And so let me find that again. Let me find that. But yeah, really excited to be hosting that event. Right now we're working, trying to find a venue for the place. But like I said, we got a lot of speakers already who said that they would be willing to do it, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to see a lot of you guys there in person. And let me get that link for you guys. Okay, so here's the link. I'll put it in the chat. Michael says it's a no-brainer for me. Absolutely, Michael. Can't wait to see you there. See you and Missy there. It was cool seeing you at MSC. And also, Matt says I'll be there. Let's go, Matt. Let's go. It'd be nice to meet you in person. Yeah, and it'd be nothing would make me happier than getting to network with you guys in person. Now, you guys, again, there's going to be a cost associated with it. It's going to be in Las Vegas, so you guys will have to pay for plane tickets, and then you have to pay for a hotel stay. But the good news is that we put Vegas for a reason, because in Vegas you get really good group rates and you get really good flights, because everything is subsidized to get you to the casinos, because they think if they get you to the casinos, then they think, hey, they can get more money out of you from gambling. So the flights there will be pretty cheap, and the room rate will be pretty cheap, especially at the group rate. And then also there'll be a ticket price for the conference if you want to come, only because we have to we have to pay for a lot of things. We have to pay for some of the speakers to come out. We're gonna have to pay for lunch or some sort of meal for you guys. So there's costs associated with it. So it's not gonna obviously be free. But Adam says it's hot in Vegas in September, though. You are right. I mean, it gets a little bit cooler October. We'll be inside most of the time, and I'm sure we'll probably be. I mean, most of the day, anyways, will be like the conference, so we'll have a bunch of speakers. But you're right, it's gonna be hot. So if you do come, make sure you bring appropriate clothing. Rosemary says, "Let's go." Thanks, Joji. Michael says, "The network and knowledge gained is well worth it." Absolutely. So, guys, that's where I'm going to end today. I'm really happy that you guys joined us for our BookMine sourcing session. Victor was not able to come today, but he'll be on future ones. Don't worry. Denise says, "But it is dry heat," which is also true. So it's not super humid there, which is good. When you're in a hot place and it's humid, that's where it's going to be bad. So, guys, go out and snag your books on BookMine. I'm telling you, there's gold out there. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars of profit. You just got to use it, right? Obviously, you got to get better at reading keepographs, but there are tons of great books there. So use it. Get your daily book goal. Buy 10 books a day. We easily would have bought over 10 books just in this 1-hour session. But, I think right now I'm averaging like 13 or 14 books per day as it is. And it doesn't take me that long to source 13 or 14 books, if I'm being honest. So, I also went a little bit slower here because I'm trying to teach you guys how to use BookMine and teach you my thought process, which normally I just think in my head. I don't say it out loud. It slows me down, but there's a lot of A lot of great books there. So if you haven't started free trial, you can start a free trial down below, link below. But other than that, guys, hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Denise, I got my 10 books today with Joji. Absolutely. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.